I hear the word king or queen one more time, I'm gonna freaking scream. What a wonderful... Hello, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Knockout Book Reviews with Kimiova. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about the book Slay by Brittany Morris. Slay is about a 17-year-old student and a math tutor. So Kira pretty much develops a online game where different kids that were African American can join. It's like a VR game and a virtual reality game, if you don't know what I mean by that. But she pretty much creates a game where different kids from all across the world who are Black can come together and pretty much take on personas of different Nubian prince and princesses and stuff like that. The only thing about this game is that nobody in her life knows about it. Her mom, her dad, and especially her boyfriend Malcolm, who thinks games are completely stupid and a waste of time, specifically for Black Americans, or I shouldn't even say Black Americans, just Black people in general, but we'll get into him. When a kid in Kansas City ends up getting murdered behind the game, her game is pretty much slandered across the news as being violent, exclusionist, and racist. An anonymous troll actually ends up infiltrating the game and threatens to pretty much sue Kira for being anti-white discrimination. And pretty much you follow Kira trying to keep her secret from everybody around her, so they don't find out that she's the actual creator of the game, but at the same time she wants to upkeep her game, and she kind of just struggles with what it means to be unapologetically Black in a world that is pretty much intimidated by Blackness. Before I get into my thoughts and opinions about Slay, I'm going to talk about like my rating and stuff. I believe I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. I also love the cover. I don't have it physically. I actually listened to it through audiobook, but it was like a thrill of a ride. Like it just really grabs you and takes you into the story. The book also allows you to follow other characters around the world who actually play Slay, and I thought that was really great. So you don't really just get Kira's perspective, you also get her like sidekick that helps her create the game. You also get other people that Kira doesn't even have any relation to or know at all, and you get to see their perspective of the game and how it's helping them cope with like what's going on with them in their life and what's happening like in the world today. I really loved her sister. She was great. She was like the only sane person in this book who had her head on tight. Trust me. Like there are so many things that irritated me about this book, and this is low-key gonna be a bit of a rant review, but not a rant review because I didn't enjoy the book, because I actually enjoyed the book, but her boyfriend, y'all can't hold it anymore. Like I was gonna try to say some more good cute little things, but no, her boyfriend Malcolm, y'all, like it was even a Hotep nightmare. It was a Hotep nightmare. Firstly, my main, and I don't want to say issue because that really makes it seem like I have a complete problem with this word or these words, but I just feel like it was extremely overused in this book. King and queen, every single thing. It was my king, my queen, my queen, my king, my queen, king, and I'm a queen, and I'm a king, and I'm a queen, and I'm a king, and a queen, and I was just like, you're even tiring the words, like you're even tiring it. I don't hear that thing any longer. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just used way too much throughout the book. I felt like we could have relaxed on it. Like I understand that this game is supposed to like uplift Black folks all across the world and things of that nature, but just hearing king and queen over and over again, it's like the words are even tired at this point. Like I cannot. And her boyfriend, I wouldn't even say her boyfriend was the main culprit of using this, because Kira herself, like she used it an astronomical amount as well, including him. But it just was like a bit too much. Like, oh my God, every single time I would hear that word, I would roll my eyes. As far as her sister, like I said, she was like the main person in this story that really had a good head on her shoulders. I can't remember if she's older or younger than her. I think Steph is like the younger sister, which is crazy to me because the way that her sister acted and how she spoke and her thoughts behind things, you know, in regards to Kira's game and or like the game Slay in general, and just overall arching topics that have to do with like Black people and is it racist to have white people excluded from this game? Those types of conversations that were delved in the book. She just had great opinions on it. Like, she was spitting facts. She's one of those like girls that will like pretty much read you. Like, she will tell you what it is, and like you, like, it's funny because like she'll let you speak, she'll let you say your piece, but then she's gonna do the over dramatic. Actually, like in the book they talk about how like Kira talks about how her sister's over dramatic. Like, she'll give you the over dramatic, like, okay, let me paint you a picture. Like, that's the type of person she is, and I was here for it. Now we're gonna get into Malcolm, her boyfriend. Malcolm was the most irritating character I've ever read about in my whole entire life. Like, every single time he would speak, I would just start cussing. He's one of those like Hotep-y Black people that feel like if you weren't raised a certain type of way, like you are kind of like a pitiful Black person, and you're not deemed to really be worthy of anything. And if you're not educated, if you don't read, if you do anything that's not in the realm of you know, educating yourself more on Black history, you're pretty much like not worth shit. Like, that's pretty much how he felt. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, this one hated video games. Like, even when Kira was not even like, he didn't even know about her and the Slay thing, she was just like, oh, you know, I don't mind games or whatever. And he was like, oh my God, Kira, I can't believe you're doing that. My queen, you can't do that. Like, you can't be focused on video games. Like, that's not going to benefit the advancement of Black people. Like, girl, he ran that phrase out, the advancement of Black people. He kept saying it. I'm just like, sir, you're talking about her not being for the advancement of Black people, but you feel like if a Black person is homeless, if a Black person, is in a Section 8 home, or he didn't come well off, apparently it's an issue. You know what I'm saying? Or if you are in those situations, you have to be educating yourself on Black history in order to be deemed worthy of being a Black person. Like, it was just total BS. And just what really irritated me about like Kira's character is that she literally saw the signs. Like, she would see the signs that Malcolm was not worth shit, and that he was really judgmental, and he also really did not like white people in a way that was just like a mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, she even noticed the signs, but she kept like doing that thing that a lot of girls do when, you know, you try to convince yourself that they're still a great person because, you know, he did talk about how he was for the advancement of Black people, and that everything that really that came out of his mouth was, you know, just being pro-Black and pro-Black people and things like that. And it was all really just a scam, sis. Like, it's literally a scam. We can all see it's a scam. That's why the phrase of when someone shows you the true colors, believe them, it's a very real thing, okay? It's a very real thing. He constantly showed her how he didn't give a damn about a good chunk of Black people and claimed to be for the advancement of Black people, and she still stayed on with him. And like, it was so funny because throughout the book, it's just her constantly avoiding him. Like, she's avoiding him. She don't want to see him. She don't want to talk to him. She's ignoring his texts. So much so that her white friends that he doesn't like, he's texting them and, you know, cussing at them to try to figure out where she is and why she's ignoring him, instead of, you know, I don't know, taking it upon himself to, I don't know, go see her, or I don't know, do something else besides harassing her friends behind her. You know what I mean? And it's just like, sis, if you can't stand the thought of cuddling him, if you another thing is that, I'm sorry, I know that I'm like all jumpy right now, but another thing is that like when they pretty much had like a future planned out together. Okay, she was supposed to get into Spelman because obviously if you're Black and you're not going to HBCU, you're not worth a damn. So they had that, you know, planned for themselves and stuff like that. And she was kind of afraid that, you know, if she got in, or she wouldn't get in. And then when she did get in, she was like, oh, you know, now I really don't feel like I really want to go. Like, she, you know, the pressure that Malcolm was kind of putting on her going to an HBCU and then being in Atlanta together and whatever, you know what I'm saying? She had just had so much pressure on her that, like, by the time everything came to pass, she didn't even want that, you know, she didn't even want that for herself, you know? And it was just like, sis, if you can't tell that this is probably a sign that you need to break up with him, I don't know what else will. I already know that someone is gonna die, okay? So when that said person dies, all right, obviously it's all over the news, and Kira finds out, you know, at first she's like, oh, you know, it can't be my game, it has to be another person's game, there's no way it could be my game, Slay, that caused someone to die, because she's just like, in what world would that happen? We have rules set, yada yada yada, okay? So it ends up being her game, right? And somehow she ends up having, like, you know, a conversation with Malcolm, and that's when he tells her his thoughts and feelings about video games in general. And he asks her, like, oh, you know, do you play the game and stuff? And, you know, obviously she's denying it. And I feel like he can kind of tell that, like, I feel like he thinks that she was obviously playing it, but, like, not that she was like the whole creator of the game or whatever. But that's besides the point. All right, so you find out later on from the news story that it was a Black boy who was shot by another Black man, okay, behind this game, right? Okay. So can y'all please tell me why? And this is gonna be a spoiler. So I'm gonna put on the screen that this is a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear all the juicy details of the book, go ahead and exit out now and come back near the end where I like just sum things up. But I'm going to get into some spoilers, okay? So when Malcolm finds out that you know, she was the one that had created the game, this guy is a raging lunatic, okay? He pretty much blasts her on Twitter talking about some, oh, this is the first of all, I wanted to say that the anonymous person that's trolling in the game, it's actually Malcolm. First of all, that's fucking crazy, because the person in that game literally was putting on blackface as a white person and shaved his head like he was a skinhead. That's already just a sign of I don't even know what, okay? Then once he finds out it's her, after they have a conversation, he hacks her webcam and then pretty much starts recording her and takes a picture of her from that recording and then puts it on Twitter and pretty much blasts her. Like I said, you know, he blasts her and he's like, pretty much saying something along the lines of, oh, this is the person that caused that brother. This is the person that caused that brother to die. Da 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 da. I know that when I see her on the streets, I'm gonna make sure I do something about it. Pretty much implying that he was gonna try to hurt her behind this shit, okay? Can y'all please tell me why my good sis is still trying to protect him, talking about some, I told myself that I would never call the police on a Black man ever again, and you know, once I saw Tamir Rice and this and this and that. And it's like, sis, I understand that. By no means do I want you guys to think that I'm taking that situation with police brutality lightly. I'm really not. But sis, this man threatened to hurt you. He also encouraged other people. I don't know if I add that. He also encouraged other people to hurt her as well. All behind this boy dying, okay? When it wasn't even really her fault. You know what I'm saying? Instead of holding Black men accountable, you're trying to hold her accountable for being the creator of the game. How about, you know, the killer, you know what I'm saying? How about the boy that was shot, you know, behind the game, following the rules, you know what I'm saying? If he would, pretty much what he tried to do is take the money or whatever, take like the tokens that you get in that game and then exchange it for like real money or something along those lines, okay? Why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, we have to hold ourselves accountable. It's not every day you look around and you're trying to blame people for stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what really just irritated me about Malcolm. Like, it's every day blame, 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 but never you're ever taking accountability. And also, you're only for the advancement of Black men. It just showed me that at the end of the day, like, I honestly just want better for us Black women. I really, really do. Because men like Malcolm, sis, what are they bringing to your life? You know what I mean? What are they bringing to your life? You know, I just feel like, I know with everything in history that's happened to Black women, that's happened to Black people, you know what I mean? I completely get it, but it's not every day, like, it has to be a struggle. It's not every day, you know, we're constantly talking about the bad things. Like, some days we just want to be happy, right? And that's what Slay was. Slay was a place where people could come and enjoy themselves, you know what I mean? And exit from the real world. And that's what you saw in the book. And that's what I mentioned earlier about that I really, really loved about the book. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was so, like, whack that he was trying to take that away from people and demonizing it and making it seem like it was a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back from the doom and gloom of what's happening in society and what's happening in the world right now, and stepping into a place that makes you happy, makes you feel warm inside, makes you feel connected to other Black people, not only in America, but around the world. And he was trying to make that seem like it was something bad. And lastly, I want to talk about how, as Black people, not even just Hotep Black people or whatever, you know, because honestly, I feel like Malcolm was like a special type of Hotep. He was on some other type of stuff. I just think that it's extremely important that Black people don't govern other Black people and how they choose to be Black. Looking down on other Black people because they're not for the advancement of Black people by your standards is absolutely trash. You know what I mean? Just because one Black person doesn't want to be an activist and in the streets and fighting for Black people, you know, every day or you know, on a consistent basis, really doesn't mean that they're any less Black and they don't deserve, you know, to have a voice and, like, you know, just have a voice in general. You know, everybody deserves the right to, like, live their life however they choose. And Malcolm and how he looked down upon, like, other Black people was just absolutely trash. Malcolm really walked around here with this elitist ass attitude that he was just better than everybody, you know, because he on a consistent basis read Black literature and educated himself about Black history. And I was just like, okay, and, like, do you ever do anything else? You know what I mean? Those things are also great, but it was to the point where, guys, he literally did nothing else. Every single time that he would talk to Kira, he was always telling her, oh, I'm reading this, I'm doing this, I'm reading this, I'm reading this. And it's like, that's great. But what do you do for, you know, fun? You know what I'm saying? And that may be his fun, but you don't have to chastise other people if they don't find that, you know, to be the same, like, as fun to them as it is for you. And that's exactly what he would do to Kira and everyone that she was around. All in all, I definitely really did enjoy this book. I just had to come on here and, like, rant a little bit about my feelings on, you know, Malcolm and her boyfriend and stuff like that. But it was just really infuriating. And I just felt like that was something really important to talk about because he just made me want to, like, pull my non-existent hair out. That's all for today's video, you guys. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in and staying to the end. And if you have any comments, if you've read this book, if you have any thoughts and opinions about this book, I would really appreciate it if you leave it down below in the comments. And like always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.